Okay, so in grade 10, we learned graphing lines, this special equation, y equals mx plus b. Does that look familiar or sound familiar? Okay, well, m in this talked about the what of the line. Do you remember? Slope. Yeah, I heard the word slope. And the slope in words is what over what? Ooh, look at that, so you remember something. And the b, do you remember what the last number was? So like in this, 5 is the what? Do you remember that? The y-intercept. Okay. So here we go. Number 1. We have a y-intercept of 5. And the slope is, how many x's do you have there? If it just says x, how many x's do you technically have? 1. What is 1 as a fraction? 1 over 1. Okay, so here's what I need. And when we do this, I don't want you to draw your line. Don't jump ahead. Okay, so I need you to put a point 0, 5, which is a y-intercept. I need you to go rise 1, run 1. I need you to go up 1, right 1. You can do a few times. It'll make a staircase, right? Don't draw your line. Don't get ahead. Okay, so that's all grade 10 stuff, how to draw lines. Now, here's the thing that's different. I don't have an equal to sign here. I have a other symbol. What does that symbol say to you in words? Anybody know what that symbol reads in a word? Less than, right? So if you are less than something, can you be on it? No. So to indicate that I cannot be on it, I'm going to draw a dashed line. So a dashed line indicates that you are not allowed to be on it. Okay, now we said that that symbol said we should be less than. This says less than. So here's the question. Which side of that line would tell you I'm less than it? The thumbtack or the penny? Which side do you think is the less than that line? The penny. Okay, so that means less than it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put little arrows to remind myself. I'm going to be below that line somewhere. Okay, so now we're going to graph the other one. Okay, so what do I know about this line? The y-intercept is 1. And the slope number is -2. But as a slope, you always want to write it as a fraction. So -2 over 1. Okay, so now draw me a y-intercept. So give me a coordinate 0, 1. Can you go down? This would say down 2, right 1. Down 2, right 1. Okay, negative slope means you should be sliding down a hill. Positive slope means you're climbing uphill. Okay, what does this symbol mean in words? What does that say in a word? Greater than or equal to. So can I be on this line if I want to be on it? Yes. So now what am I going to do? I'm going to draw a solid line. Solid line. So this one was dashed and this one's solid. Greater than. So which side of this line would be a greater than direction of the line? The thumbtack side of it or the penny side of it? Which is angling upward? Greater than. It has to, from the line, it has to angle on a position upward. Did you pick the tack? Okay, this angles in a greater than an upward direction. So which region works for both? I have to be somewhere below this one and somewhere above this one at the same time. So this is the solution set. Any coordinate that you pick will work in all of the inequalities. So I'm going to make you pick a solution. There's lots of solutions. Can you name me one coordinate that is considered a solution? It can be any random coordinate. How about 8, 1? Would that be a solution? Yeah. So if I plug it in here, if I put an 8 in the x, which would be 13, is 1 less than 13? True. Yep. If I put an 8 in here for the x, so negative 16 plus 1 is negative 15. And if I put a 1 in here, is 1 greater than or equal to negative 15? Yep. Okay? So that's what's happening. Lots of solutions. Okay, this one has 3 lines on it. So this equation is called a special line. Why is it special? It's because it only has one of the letters in it. It doesn't have a Y, so it's a special line. You learned the special lines in grade 10. Here's your choices. Is this special line one of them that goes straight up and down or flat? Those are the 2 special lines. Okay, so if you forget, here's what I want you to do. Can you put a coordinate anywhere on this paper that has an x value of negative 5? Go ahead. Put a coordinate somewhere with an x value of negative 5. So for instance, I could do that coordinate. Can you put a second coordinate anywhere that has an x value of negative 5? So something like that also has an x value of negative 5. So what kind of special line does x lines make? Vertical. Okay, what does this symbol mean in a word? Greater than or equal to it. So I can be on it. So I'm going to draw this line as a solid line. Okay, which side of the line do you want to be on if you want to be greater than it? Which x values go greater, the right or the left? This way, right? I'd pick the penny on this one. That's the greater side. Okay, that's done. Okay, the second line. Looking at it, I have no idea how to graph it. So what could I do to make it look like the other things that we did? Separate, isolate, right? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep y stuff. I'm going to move x stuff, and I'm going to move number. Isolation, right? Algebra. Keep 3y, move the x. Are you going to write positive 2x? And if you move the number, you're going to write positive 9. Now, how do you get y alone? Divide by 3. But what happens when you do that? Candy, kids, you got to do it to them all, right? Okay, now this looks familiar to me. What is the y-intercept? What is the slope? I have all that now. So the y-intercept, 3. I'm going to go up 2, right 3. What kind of line do I want? Am I on it or not on it? So do I want a solid one or do I want a dashed one? This says I have to be greater than the line, but I can't be on it. I'm not allowed to be on it. So I'm going to draw a dashed line. I'm not allowed to be on it, but I can get close to it, but not on it. And which side of that line, the pink or the yellow side, is going to be a greater direction on the line? Which side angles upward? The pink side, right? The pink side is in a position going up. So upward. So you want to be that direction. Okay, and the last line. Okay, algebraically, I'm going to do some stuff. So I'm going to go negative 2y stays. The x stuff is going to have to move across. The number is going to have to move across. So I changed symbols there. The sign's now changed. And divide by negative 2 to everything. Okay, something crazy is now going to happen. Okay, we've done this before. If in math you divide by a negative or times by a negative, does anybody remember? Flips the sign over. Okay, so maybe you want to put a star there to remember that. That would probably be on a test, I'm guessing. So that in math, when you divide by a negative, the sign flips around. Okay, so that's just algebra stuff. Okay, so now I'm ready to graph. The y-intercept is 3, so that's the same coordinate. And I should now go down to right 1. And the symbol says greater than or equal to. So I can be on it. So I'm going to draw this as a solid line. Solid line. And then I have to pick a side of that line. So which direction do you want to be on? And it said it had to be greater than that. Greater than that line. So visualize yourself on this side or this side of it. So greater direction means this direction. Okay, so where do I shade? Where are all the coordinates that work for all 3 items? Any coordinate in that region, right? And you have to stop at this line. Remember that? We had a stop line right there. And it keeps going on forever, right? Okay, so any coordinate in this section, if you take anything like that, like 0, 10, if you were to plug in 0, 10 into this, this, and this, they would all work, all 3 of them. That's the goal.